Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate. Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate. Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Dharadhara, Shri Vasudeva Bhakta Vrinda. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Dharadhara, Shri Vasudeva Bhakta Vrinda. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, 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 Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Mohana. Madana Mohana. Haribo Krishna, Haribo Krishna. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. 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 Gopala Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana 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 Mohana. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Guranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Guranga. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Guranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Guranga. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate. Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namine. Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa,
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Haribol, Haribol. Haribol Namaste. Good morning, everyone. So let us continue our study program. So the subject is the search for real, lasting happiness. How to be situated in the world of an experience of happiness that fulfills the heart, gives satisfaction to what we're longing for. So we are being given this guidance by the saintly person. It's how to be connected with devotional service. What is devotional service? Devotion, it's about loving care, a focus of amiable surrender, and the sweetness of relating to the Supreme Person without any material consideration. Simply what He wants, simply His pleasure, His will. Just like when Lord Jesus Christ, at the end, He's leaving this world, He said, "Let this cup pass as you will. Into thy hands I commend my life. Your will be done." So how can we enhance our devotion, or how can we cultivate the plant of love for God, the seed that has been planted in our heart by the dear most confidential loving servant of Lord Krishna, our Gurudev? So one process that we should be doing is hearing the names and glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We're looking for joy. We're looking for real happiness. The Supreme Person is the source of transcendental happiness. He's the cause of all causes. And He wants us to be with Him, to embrace Him, to have this feeling in our life, in our whole being, the belongingness. I belong to you, my Supreme Lord. You're my eternal friend. You're my eternal master. And this relationship, this meditation of yoga, union with God, in devotional mood or relationship is achieved by hearing the names and glories of the Supreme Person. So Lord Chaitanya states in his teaching, which was written by his closest disciple. I'll read one of the Sikshastaka, or one of the transcendental instruction that is connected with the teachings of Rupa Goswami. How we can be situated in a world that is full of real, continual fulfillment of the heart, and that is in harmony with the will of God, His desire. So He gives us a process that will foster or will help us be focused in meditation. That our whole life, our whole being will be centered around doing what is pleasing to Him. And that will give the living entity us comfort of the heart, an eternal absolute foundation of shelter. The living entity us, by nature, we are active, being transcendental, meaning a different energy from matter, life. So we are active by nature. So we should engage in activities that will foster closeness to God. And it begins with hearing and chanting the glories of the Supreme Person. Here is one of the prayers, one of the 8 supremely valuable prayer that we can be meditating, focusing our life, directing our activities. Anything we do should be centered around this prayer of Lord Chaitanya, of Lord Krishna. Glory to the Sri Sankir Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years together. Thus the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death is extinguished. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it helps to have a taste of the full nectar for which we are always anxious. One of the process, the 9 process of devotional service, which we can apply in meditation, in activities, hearing the names and glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What makes us sad? What makes us lonely? What makes us miserable? It is the sound that we have been exposed in this material world, contrary and different from the transcendental holy names of God. I was talking to someone, a friend of mine, who wants to report something. And the media, materialistic media, it's not important to discuss about God, to be very direct. It's not important to them if a person begins to have a change of outlook from being a hedonist, a narcissistic, person whose consciousness is to just consume and be in a world of consumption. It's not important to them that this person made a decision. I want to love God. It's not important for them. It's not news that a person who is materialistic, who is empty-hearted, who is hard-hearted, who is very lonely, will take shelter of God. It's not news for them. What is news for them? Someone that will hype the fear, the interest of everybody else in this material world. And it's about the changing world. For example, what do you see every day in the newspaper and in the media? It's all about, it's news if somebody, kills someone after raping her and chopping her body and eating her heart. That's news. Wow, heavy, Immediately, all the media personalities goes there and take, notes. It's important for them because that's what the people likes. That's what they want. And look what is happening to us here. We're all miserable because the meditation is about the pain of this world. Somebody just poisoned a lot of people in the subway. That's news for them. Someone who is in power would want to declare war and antagonize someone. So he can declare war or play diplomacy. That's news for them. It's also news for them every year to find out and look for Miss Universe, Miss International, and that's what they discuss and gather around in the United Nations, Talk about the miseries of this world, and everybody's interested. And it's connected with the field of activities that they're in, this body. They're always thinking, how can we experience fulfillment? How can we experience freedom from this anxiety? But the focus that is being put forward by the media and the materialistic society, in the materialistic society, it's focused upon the changing temporary world. And there's no answer for the quest for search of happiness that is inherent in all of us, which is where we will be giving our life, our love, which what will be our meditation. The motive for all of us is a search for real happiness. But in ignorance, we're doomed to fail because it's based upon this changing world. So we must become free from this ignorance. We must understand what is eternality, what is transcendental, that the living entity us. We are eternal, temporary living in this body. And the real search for happiness cannot be fulfilled through just contact with material nature by following the dictates of the senses under the influence of the three modes of material nature. Any activities we do, philanthropic, civic activities, taking care of the frogs, taking care of the termites, taking care of the whales, if there's no connection with the glories and the holy names of God, useless. Altruism, capitalism, communism, we can see around. It's not a secret anymore. It's an open truth that is happening relatively now in this temporary material world. And we are just homing and focusing in that world. And we have this question in our heart. Am I really in the right direction? Can I be, and I pray in my heart, hoping against hope. Where can I find this connection of real happiness, real joy that will really fulfill my longing? And that longing, in absoluteness, is our relationship with our loving friend, the Supreme Person. It must be established. So the sound that we should be hearing should purify our heart and our mind. And Lord Krishna is the Supreme Purifier. And He comes as the holy names, coming from the Spiritual Master, who passes on the holy names to us through oral reception. I was brought up, I am always hearing, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Why is he blessed? Because when we hear the holy names coming from his lips, we become blessed. We are now connected with our eternal friend, the Supreme Person. To know more about God, about His qualities, His nature, we must engage in hearing the names and glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even in this world, it's natural that if you want to love someone, you must know more about him or about her. You must know what's her desire. You must be amiable, have this amiable relationship in harmony to please that person, and she also tries to please you. So in a transcendental world, it is about doing and pleasing the Supreme Person. So it begins with a process that is not by our own power, but by Him. He loves us. He makes effort so we can be in that world. So the devotee teaches us. One of the process is hearing the names and glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The more you hear about Him, the more you begin to know more about Him. Just like when a child is born and the father, before leaving, going to another country to work, he never saw the child or his daughter. And the mother, she gives birth to a child, this daughter who have never seen the father. But because of his association with the mother, who loves him, who is the conduit of the sacrifice and the love that his father is sharing to him, giving that child. She never saw her father physically, but through the trust and relationship, the love that she is experiencing, the care that her mother is giving her, she begins to understand that the person that the mother is loving so much is a person who is very far but communicating with his dear mother. And the mother tells the daughter, you know, you're so pretty. You have the looks, you know, the handsome look of your father. And that child begins to experience protection, comfort of someone who is very far but taking care of them through the mother's love for her and expression of communicating to the child, to the young daughter, about how kind the father is, how caring he is, and it is expressed in action, not just, you know, osmosis or mental speculation. It's a reality for the child when the mother tells her because she experienced the love. So when we come in contact with someone who's really a loving servant of the Supreme Person, then we can have a glimpse. And the more we chant, the more we experience that love, the personality of that person who our spiritual master is loving so much. We just simply meditate and feel in our heart to be associated in that world in any capacity to render service to the person, to him who is loving the Supreme Person. And it is enhanced and it will be fostered with this process that is being given to us, hearing the names and glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We experience in the heart the sweetness, the joy of the holy names of God, which is not different from Him. But if we focus upon the mundane sound here, you go crazy. You'll be full of fear. You'll be full of anxiety, insecurity. Because the meditation will be an experience of anticipation. We're always anxious we cannot get what we want. And when we get it, we're anxious again to protect it and keep it. We struggle so hard. And in the end, we leave everything behind. We are all again in anxiety. Misery is caused by the mind. So we are advised to hear the glories of the Supreme Person. So I'll read again the prayer of Lord Chaitanya about the glories of the holy names. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years together. This fire of conditional life, we're conditioned to be focused upon this material world, of repeated and birth and death, because our meditation is upon this temporary world. The fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death is extinguished. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spread the rays of benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it helps to have a taste of the full nectars, which were always anxious. That is the real meaning of chanting the holy names of the Supreme Person. So let's chant. Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Hari Bol Krishna, Hari Bol Krishna. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. 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 Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. 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 Hari Bol Krishna. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Shila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Shila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine. Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastayate. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayana. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayana.